Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Furman Football Weekly with head coach Clay Hendricks. Paladins coming off of a gritty 17-14 win at Chattanooga on Saturday to claim the SoCon's auto bid, at the very least a share of the Southern Conference Championship, and we'll be able to claim that outright with a win over VMI at home this week. We'll talk more about that, including a time change on the kickoff that was just announced a short time ago. Joining coach today are Travis Blackshear and Ben Ferguson, and Furman remains at number 2 in both of the major FCS polls that were just released this morning. Right now we'll turn it over to Clay Hendricks for an opening statement, and then let Scott Keeler ask the first question. Clay?
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Again, as always, appreciate you guys being here.
Hey.
Certainly thrilled with the outcome of the football game Saturday, having a chance to go win against a really, really good Chattanooga team at their place. Get a share of the conference championship, which has been our goal, or at least win a conference championship has been our goal from the time our season ended a year ago. And I told our team, actually told them Friday night, talking about that's why they came back, was to be in that position. But coming back didn't actually give you that opportunity. There's a whole lot that's going into it this year just to get back to that point, but just to be able to see them realize that, how we played. As tough a gritty of a group performance as I can remember at any time. I don't know if I've been part of a game. I probably have been, where you felt like you had so many bad things happen to you. Coach Vaughn likes to talk about, giving up explosion plays, and then you have those catastrophic plays. And you felt like kind of through part of that game, just a lot of catastrophic type things happened. And, but just, how our kids responded. Nobody panicked, but again, just a weird series of things that kind of happened. And then our guys just kind of hung in there and found a way to get it done. So certainly satisfied, and we were able to do that. We're able to celebrate, what they've accomplished Saturday, and at that point we moved on. And we know we got 2 football games, a huge one this weekend that's going to help us do the things we want to do. We're a little selfish, but we don't want to share anything with anybody, and that's kind of our thought right now. And then we're going to get a chance to play bonus football. And certainly how we play these next couple of weeks changes the road that we'll be taking, so so we got lots of stuff to play for. But again, I made the decision to let them go ahead and present us that Saturday, because I thought it was something we'd earned and won in that setting. And like I said, our kids celebrated. It was a great day Saturday, and we moved on. We started back yesterday, had a great day yesterday. Hadn't heard a word about it since then, and nothing to talk about. Our guys are really bright kids. They totally understand kind of what's out there, what's ahead of them, and get a chance now to turn to a VMI team that's playing their best football. I have great respect for Coach Rocco and his career everywhere he's been. You can watch the tape; they've gotten better every week. Didn't really know Coach until the media days, but again, just a lot of respect to cover the tape and watch them play. So we'll certainly have our work cut out for us. I came out pretty healthy. Certainly Tyler's situation. Tyler's got a shoulder sprain. Best way I describe it right now is probably week to week. Tyler came out of that tent, grabbed the ball, and started throwing it around, and we weren't going to let him go back in there at that point in time. But very missed that Carson Jones and the job he did and how he stepped in. I'm not going to sit here and say that it didn't surprise me at all, but it did surprise me in a lot of ways. That's the nature of kind of who he is, how he practices. Our guys have a tremendous amount of confidence in him. He's shown it in practice. And, so it was, like I said, I wouldn't want to throw him in that situation against that defense. Because, again, they have an outstanding team. We're certainly fortunate, thrilled to be able to get a win. And again, excited to see what the rest of this season holds. But with that, Scott, we'll take your first question.
Coach, I didn't see every football game this weekend, but I'm interested to say that the one I did see was probably the only one where the guy that caught the game on a touchdown set up the first points with a punt block. Does Wayne Anderson kind of embody every heart of this team. And on the punt block, how did he not go off sides and just kind of, how did he, I mean, it looked off sides and it wasn't. I said, I've seen the replay 5 times.
Well, you see, he got a great jump on it. I hadn't really just asked him that, but I remember looking at it later. He got a great jump on it. Obviously, he just flat out missed the one, against East Tennessee. And Wayne blocked one against VMI last year, and he dislocated his finger in the game. He got back in, he blocks the punt, and he makes that catch, and then a great run after the catch. But I think he does. We moved him. Originally was running back, went to receiver, came back to running back. Man, you talk about low maintenance and dependable, which we talk a lot about around here. I mean, he embodies that, and just what a great guy, teammate, and I was really happy for him as well.
Travis and Ben, can y'all kind of describe how it's been this season for both of you, from where we started to where we are right now as SoCon champ?
I start first. It all starts with preparation. The coaches done an unbelievable job of getting us prepared throughout the week, so we're able to play our best football on Saturdays. And obviously, we've been able to show that we've been putting in the work, not even just fall camp, but throughout when the season ended last year versus UIW. The guys knew what we wanted, and we weren't able to achieve what we would like last year. Obviously, we had a good record, we had a good team, but the guys knew we could do better, and we wanted the SoCon championship and be able to play further on in the playoffs.
Yeah, like Travis said, we had a lot of guys come back, and we didn't, like how we finished last year. So everyone coming back and just the preparation, and we had like a chip on our shoulder all off season, fall camp, and honestly every week in preparation we just go out there and practice like we want to win, and I mean it showed. So.
Coach, I think on postgame you said that you've been doing this for 38 years and that was about as good a win as you have. What makes this team so resilient week in and week out that they're able to put some bad plays behind and move on to the next one and continue to win?
I think they've just been so consistent in everything they do, and they always practice well. I can't say it's perfect all the time, but just consistency, really trust, in each other. There's some weeks you got to get it done on offense, some weeks you got to get it done on defense to really help the other group out. I thought like the kicking game was huge the other day. You look at the numbers, it didn't show up. We blocked a punt, we made a field goal, they didn't. Then we had 2 returns. We started maybe outside the 30. They kicked one out of bounds. We had another good return. He kicked every ball in there. And I really thought the fourth quarter was huge. Obviously we scored some points, but we flipped the field on them. And even offensively, when we didn't get points, we made a few first downs. And Coach Fanger says it all the time, guys. It's not a bad thing to punt. We pinned them down. Their defense got stopped. I think the last drive we started at midfield, which was huge. But I just think that, and again, like Travis said, preparation. That's what it's all about. You got to be able to prepare, and our staff can't say enough about those guys and what they've done, and just believing in each other. I have to say, you're sitting over there, and man, there's some, we lose Hugh. And somebody made this comment. If you probably could ask the other team, you can take one off the other team, offense and defense, before the game starts. Who do they pull off? And they pull off both number 6s. So obviously we knew what Tyler Van and his experience in the use the same way with the defensive side of the ball. A guy like Jack Rhodes stepping up. And you could just go down this. Travis, you can't see. He had a ping put in his thumb last Friday, a week ago, and they cleared him about an hour before he got on the bus. And they said, if you want to play, you can play. It was obviously so limited in practice, but he made that pretty clear he wanted to play. So I don't know, just a bunch of unselfish guys that have a common goal. I think they realized what they had to do to kind of get there. Still no guarantees, and it certainly hadn't been easy. I don't know if anybody's had a tougher road than we've had. You know, you think of last month, and those, especially those road wins we got. You know, and you know, like I said, there's not a whole lot, you know, shakes them just because we've been in some tough situations.
Travis, you've had a chance to kind of, for a rare occasion, to watch some football from the sidelines. Can you talk about just the way that Ivan Yates has stepped up? I thought he was particularly key on Saturday, a couple of tip-aways. Just talk about his performance, you know, Saturday and really in ETSU.
Yeah, Ivan, he's been playing good all year, and it doesn't just starts out. It doesn't just show on Saturdays. As a corner, it's a very tough position to play. We're put in tough situations, and it goes to how you watch film during the week. Practice, you have to practice. You can't really take a day off that corner, or it'll come back and bite you quick. So I would say his preparation, Coach Mesa, he does a good job of being out there with us, going through the film with us, giving us tips and reminders like how should we go about what we need to do on Saturdays and obviously throughout the week of practice. So I would say his preparation, and then also me and Micah, we push him, like we push each other. We obviously want to do better. So I would just say his preparation, he lost it this year, and he's been playing really well.
For Ben and Travis, you guys coming off this ranked win, riding high, you know, a lot of momentum. What do you guys talk about among the experienced guys on the team to not have a letdown in the final games of the season?
I would say the guys, like we talk about it. We see everything that's going on social media, the expectations, but we know everything is you have to earn it. It's never given. So we have that mindset. We know what we want to accomplish. We know where we want to be at, and obviously we're trying to make that happen. So that's it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like a lot of guys came back for a reason, and we did have something to prove, and we got it done. But yeah, just before the game, I was talking to some of the linemen, and actually it was Pearson Toomey, and I was like, well, man, this is what, you know, this is it, you know, this is what we came back, or this is what you came back for, you know, let's get it done. And you know, we both rode with that, and the whole team really did, and got behind it and figured out a way to get it done.
Ben, what does it feel like to be one of the more inexperienced players on one of the more experienced teams that I have ever seen? I mean, like on a day-to-day, what does that feel like?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm the young guy. I just try to step in and do all I can. We had Wayne Anderson in the receiver room earlier this year, and then he had some injuries and went over to running back. So me and the freshman Colton Hinton, we both had a big job to step up. And I mean it's awesome. We have a lot of older guys that kind of took us in when we both got here, and obviously Colton came in not too long ago, but I came in a year ago, and it's just family in there. I mean, all the guys just corral around you, and you really don't feel like a young guy, even though you really are. So.
Clay, when you and I were doing our pregame interview and the meeting and talk we were having before that on Thursday, one of the things you mentioned was that you said your receivers needed to make more contested catches. And Saturday, I thought we saw that. Ben made a big one on that last drive, a third down conversion. Kendall made a nice adjustment on the deep ball. I mean, and technically even Travis's was contested, that interception that he made. But you kind of, I'm sure you challenged them, but you mentioned it to me, just your thoughts on how they responded to that.
Well, obviously they responded, and I say that, Drew Dudzik, that room, coaching them. Drew does a terrific job challenging those guys. He challenges them every day of practice. I think I think Coach Roper, we were talking about Ben's catch. I don't think people need to look at that catch on that conversion down there. You know, he said, I'm not gonna say that was his best catch of the year because of the one, I guess he made at Sanford, but he does a lot of those things in practice, so I don't think it surprises anybody. Kendall's play was huge. I thought, you know, certainly Colton, the first touchdown, man, what a throw, you know, by a young guy that, you know, and really you talk about, Dan, that was freshman to freshman, true freshman to a true freshman. And so we don't have a lot of those young guys in those kinds of roles, but, no, I mean, I think it's like anything else. And I even told our team, I would like to even think offensively. I don't know if I've sensed a little bit of burden, you know, with the, you know, a little bit of, I think one of the things that's kind of been most pleasing to me, and I asked Hunter, I don't know, but, you know, it's been a while probably since somebody was picked to win the league, you know, but you kind of carry that, and maybe we're pressing a little bit at times, and I told him even yesterday, I said, hey, I'd just like to see us cut it loose and go play, because I think we're, you know, you've heard me say, oh, you felt like we left some points on the field, we're playing so well defensively. You know, again, I think our best football is still ahead of us. We just got to do the things that gives us a chance to go play our best.
Coach, you're going to be playing a VMI team that was picked to be last, but they have, like you were saying earlier, have really shown a lot of moxie, and actually this past week came back and scored 17 in the fourth quarter against ETSU and was able to hold them off to get the win. What's your thoughts about this team? It's like they have a no give up and are just playing, you know, with nothing to lose.
Well, these guys will tell you, I told our group after practice yesterday, I said, you know, when I watch teams and I watch the way they play, I think their kids are so similar to our kids. And when I say that's just kind of their makeup, you know, they go to a challenging place, and I just know, you know, I hadn't lived in that world, but I've lived in that world. But they're challenged every day in different ways. And you can kind of see it in how they play. And I think you bring a guy like Coach Rocco in there. You know, Scott Walker now did a phenomenal job. But you can bring Coach Rocco in there. And you know, he took over a lot of places that hadn't been very good and turned them kind of all around. And I mean, you can just see it. He's a defensive guy by trade, but you can just see it in how they play. You can see him getting better. You know, so I thought they should have beaten Chattanooga 2 weeks ago. They had a bunch of opportunities to do it at their place. And, you know, we all know that's a challenging place to go play sometimes with some different things you deal with. So the tape kind of speaks for itself. You know, they came back and, you know, I mean, East Tennessee kind of shot themselves in the foot quite a bit, but, you know, good teams find a way to take advantage of that. So I certainly have the utmost respect for them. You know, we'll need to have a great week of prep. But, you know, I think our guys are excited to go play too. And have a chance to be back at home. It seems like we've been on the road all year. But it's good to be back at homes. You know, it'll be our senior days. We'll get a chance to honor a big group of seniors. But like I said, the tape just clearly shows you. You know, you watch tape, you have their respect. They do a lot of things. They run it, throw it, have good players. You know, so we'll have to play really well to have a chance to go win that thing outright.
Coach, reading some national pundits and stuff about playoff resumes for different teams, it seems like the Kennesaw win is just kind of thrown, like it doesn't matter, almost. Could you speak to the challenge of facing that team in terms of not knowing what they're going to throw out there, and reiterate the fact that they have more scholarship, or they have the opportunity to have more scholarships than an FCS team, so maybe that should take on a little bit more worth than it's getting credit for. And also, based on this weekend and what you've seen, do you think Chattanooga belongs in the playoffs?
Well, you know, to answer your first question, you know, you've heard me say this. I think college football is all about matchups, you know, and there's just certain teams, you know. I think it's any challenging to play a team that has done nothing but win. That is in their DNA, and that was in Kennesaw's DNA. I think they lost 7 games in history of their stadium. You know, and it's a really odd, I know Brian well, but, you know, they were dealing with some odd, you know, they went, you know, Sam Houston, who's now full-fledged FBS, and I think they were up 21-7 at the half. You know, I know they hadn't won a lot of games, but I think Air Force beat them 13-3, you know, so it's just, and again, you know, they were sitting guys, but they, you know, we saw their best one, we got their best shot. So I just think every case is a little different. They took Chattanooga to the wire, you know, the week before that. So I don't know. People I don't compare scores a whole lot, but you know, you can go look and see where they stand statistically, defensively in the country in different places. You know, I just think that stuff I kind of try to pay attention to. You know, and how are you against good teams? You know, how'd you play? So I think that's a little bit how that works. And your second question was?
Do you think Chattanooga?
Oh, about
probably
Chattanooga.
belongs in
I think I kept Chattanooga exactly where I had them ranked the week before. They played the number 2 ranked team in the country and lost in the last 2 minutes of the game. I think it's a little bit, funny, and I'm a voter. I'm a voter in the FCS and coaches poll, and Drew Cronick and I are 2 voters. I'll rotate off after this year. But I also think it's interesting to watch. I watched earlier, I think I've said this, Mercer, I don't know what they were at the time, but they lost to us and Ole Miss, top 10. Dropped out of the poll, and I see 3 lost teams, FCS lose 2 spots, So at the end of the day, it's like I'm telling you, just let us play our schedule. Let us play our schedule, we'll sort it out. As far as Chattanooga, absolutely playoff caliber team, absolutely. They got to buy and they got to go to Alabama. I think a lot of teams haven't even played. They probably have another loss if they played an FBS team like we play. But absolutely, it'll have to shake itself out. Obviously, I think is it Mercer Sanford this week? I think Mercer. I think it's their last game. I think they have 5 the last week. I think the Sanford team. I just think in each of those cases, losses, there were some kind of weird circumstances. That's part of the game, just like ours would have been Saturday. But Chattanooga, absolutely, I think they're that caliber of team now. If they end up 7-4, how many 7-4 teams? How many? That I don't know. That I don't know. But absolutely, I think I look at them a year ago, and I think they had a chance to wait and play themselves in last year, did, but absolutely talent-wise, I think they are.
Ben, building on a little bit what you talked about earlier, a year ago, you and I believe Caleb Williams were only 2 first-year guys to play all year. What's been your biggest progression from last year to this year in terms of your overall game? What's allowed you to elevate your game this year? And also, Clay Mazza just tipped me off. He said Carson is your roommate on the road. Give us a little insight on him. What do you see in him?
Yeah, so to answer the first question, last year I was a little bit I had a nagging injury with my quad, but now it's all healed, and I really just Wayne Anderson, when he went down and I had the opportunity to step up, that really elevated not elevated my game, but it helps me out a lot with let me restart. With everything going on and him going down, I had to elevate my game, so that's really what happened. And yeah, Carson, he's my roommate. We came in here. He's actually my roommate all the time, not on the road, but all the time. And we came in first summer, and I actually asked him, I was like, "You want to be my roommate?" Not knowing anything about the guy, nothing, but me and him both, just set it off right when we saw each other. But yeah, he stepped up this week, and it was awesome. It's me and Carson. We have obviously a little connection from the roommate, but just seeing him step up in that big situation, become a leader for that last second half and everything. It was awesome to see, and all the buddies back at the place were enjoying it. So it was awesome to see.
Coach Tyler, of course, goes out after the 3rd series, and Carson comes in at that point. How much practice time did he have, and you try to get your backup quarterback during the course of the week? Did you know that might exist? And do you change philosophically to a certain extent with his skill set versus Tyler?
Well, those are good questions. Justin Hooper does a phenomenal job with those guys. That room is just to sit in that room sometimes, all those guys, even the young guys in there, that's a fun group to be around. But, Carson's taken half the reps, and there's probably some weeks maybe he takes more than half the reps, you know, and one of the things Justin has done with him is we go Wednesdays, we go 2 minute good on good. And you know what that's like against our defense. Now, we're not obviously not letting the rushers get to him. Even if they get to him, we don't let them get to him, but yeah, every other week he rolls Carson in there with those guys. And Travis will tell you, he's probably had more success than Tyler did in those type situations against our own defense. Somebody asked me, maybe it was after August, you know, Coach, who of the young guys, because we had so many old guys, who of the young guys back have just really taken another step? Here, it's funny, Ben was one of those guys. I thought Ben, you know, he was dealing with being a freshman. He was a little bit hurt last year, probably got forced in the situation, but he's just such a different guy this year. And then I immediately said Carson was the guy, just based on his progression. You know, I looked it up. Carson, 6 years of football now, the 6 teams he's been on, the last 6 teams, he's 71-8. You know, and he was almost an 80% high school completion guy. You know, and I think our guys just have a ton of confidence in him. Now, you know, Tyler goes down, half the play sheet's gone because, you know, quite frankly, we were planning on using his feet a lot. Not to say we wouldn't do some of the same with Carson, but they're a little bit different skill set. I think they both can do everything. I think Carson, his ability to stretch the field and do some things is kind of exciting probably to a lot of people. He's such a calm presence, as you know, which is probably great in that situation that he was in, because that's just who he is, you know. But he's a good athlete, and so you know it'll change a little bit, but you know we really won't change. But I think he's been really. When you think about it, he really became our backup last year, about halfway through the year, maybe about halfway, maybe a little bit through halfway the year. So he had all those last year. Certainly he's had, you know, been with Justin Ellis this entire time. I guess he wouldn't have been here the first spring, but Tyler wasn't here that first spring either. And Tyler's been great for him. So, you know, accurate, strong arm. You know, I think probably it's just decision making is one of his strengths, and he is a confident guy. So it'll kind of be fun to see. I mean, I'd love to have Tyler there. We'll get Tyler back, but I certainly he showed the situation wasn't too big for him the other day.
Coach, could you just talk about VMI? I know Coach Rocco kept, I think, one of his coordinators around and kind of just simplified things, maybe on defense. And then on offense, they've got a running back in Hunter Rice, who I think is one of the more underrated running backs in the league. Can you just talk about the challenges of facing?
Yeah, they did. You know, the offense coordinator stayed. You can still see bits and pieces of the old stuff, you know, with spread them out, but you also see them trying to be downhill, control the ball, protect our defense a little bit. Got a really good group of receivers. I think the offensive line has played well. You know, one of the things I look at, you know, they stayed pretty healthy all year, which has allowed them to continue to get better. And then, yeah, the Rice kid, I recruited him a little bit out of high school. In fact, I think he and maybe Xavier, high school teammates. You know, had a big day against Chattanooga, popular one. You know, they've kind of gotten in some Wildcat stuff the last couple of weeks. And I don't know for certain if Chattanooga was the first time they had shown that, but they continued with it last week against East Tennessee. And then defensively, you know, they're multiple enough. They can give you a bunch of different looks. Playing a really good solid defense. Again, I just know guys like Coach Rocco. You know, I think that's his background, and you know they're gonna be good over there. You know, he comes across to me as a Bobby Johnson kind of guy, just from being around him a little bit of time I was, and I think he's a really good fit there. I think he's bought into what the place is about, the challenges that are there. I think he's one of the best punters in the country. So yeah, I mean they're a solid bunch, really in all areas.
This one's for Travis and then Coach as well. You mentioned celebrating senior day, and I'm curious, what are some of the main qualities that this senior class has that permeate through the rest of the guys that set the foundation for the program?
This senior class is special. The guys, it's just a great group of guys, teammates, and on and off the field. Like knowing that they will be someone you could rely or call upon later on in life. Just to chat, talk about this season here, for example. Like it's gonna be times where we come back to the games and just see that 2023 SoCon banner on the wall, and just knowing that we left a mark, left a legacy at this university for this program, for this team, and know that we gave it all, and one of the main reasons why we came back because we wanted to, we didn't leave it all. Everybody had a little bit more to give, and we were able to get a good start on that. Obviously, the job is not finished, so we're gonna continue to keep building this legacy, keep writing the story week after week, and obviously we go this week. We got BMI. They're a pretty good team, so we gonna treat every opponent as if they're the same. So the goal this week is to go 1-0.
I'd say, in the age of college football now, we got a kind of a mixture of even the old guys. Matt Chuck's been here 7 years. Matt came in with me, came back, he was in first class, But I think a combination of that, guys that didn't have to come back. I mean, Matt's one of those guys, he's scared. They got to put him back together every week, had a bunch of different here, but tough, and I think that game the other day kind of summed it up. That's kind of who this group is. There's a bunch of really, we have a lot of really bright kids at Furman. We've got a bunch of really, smart, bright guys that have great goals later on. They're going to do great stuff. But I think they value Furman and what it's done for them and can do for them, continue to do for them. They love to play football. I think they love to be around each other. And really, we want kids who, value the school, love to play football. And that's probably a rare combination now. And again, I think a bunch of unselfish guys. I could go down the list of guys who they just want us to get it done. And if somebody else has to do it instead of them, I think they're good for that. And I think that's just probably the thing that stood out to me most. They're just fun to be around with, and fun to go to practice with. Coach Sheridan told me a long time ago about recruiting. You better recruit. Recruit's a choice. You better like them just as much on Tuesday as you do on Saturday when they're playing well for you. And I love being around our guys every day. I just do. And they're certainly fun to be with on Saturday. And again, we're never going to be the most talented group. We're not. But we wouldn't have won a championship without talent. We got talent. But they play really well together. They use their talents. And they've been great leaders for the young guys, and I think that's the thing that probably stands out to me most about it.
This kind of goes around, comes around time. All year long, Clay, you've been saying that who we're playing this week, they were better last week than they were before, and they're going to be better, and we better be better too. When you look at the schedule, and everybody's going, gotta go play at Sanford, gotta go at Western, gotta go at Chattanooga. Well, right now, VMI looks a lot more threatening than they did a month ago. It's kind of just
I totally agree. Go pull the tape from a month ago and watch last week or the week before, absolutely. And I think again, that's credit to their kids, it's credit to their staff, that they continue to get better. And I'm with you, and you go to, I can remember going to Culloway's biggest game in 40 years in Culloway. Last week, our biggest game in Chattanooga in however many years. And, that's okay. We want to be in those kinds of games. And, as we said, it goes back, we talk about our kids, just the consistency we've showed over the road. I think sometimes theirs have been, because I think our guys, the folks
Travis, I had to laugh in the postgame when Marcus asked you if you considered staying in the end zone on the interception, taking a knee, and you thought about 2 seconds and said no. And then, of course, you know, poke a little fun at you for the conditioning after being out a week and all of that stuff. But take me through diagnosing that play on the fly, because they tried 2 trick plays and we diagnosed both of them. So take me through diagnosing that play on the fly that ended up with you getting that interception in the end zone, which proved to be obviously a big moment in the game.
Yes, sir. So, first I went through my reads, took my read steps how I was supposed to. I saw the receiver or the running back go in motion, and then it looked a little weird because the receivers had took they didn't come off the ball. How receivers come off the ball when they know they about to run the route. So it was I was a little iffy, so I just waited a little second before I did anything. And then I saw I put my eyes in the backfield, saw the running back toss the ball to another receiver, I think. And then I just see I'm running back, so I'm looking for the ball. I'm tracking the ball, see what the running back trying to throw the ball, and obviously you're trying to throw it to the inside go route. Jack was able to get up under him, but the receivers, I think, he tried to go up over the top of Jack and make a catch, but happened so he tipped it up, and I just happened so to be right there where the ball ended up. Obviously, a big turning point in the game, and I was a little gassed. I was, but I knew I wanted to make a play. Obviously, I would have liked if I could have scored on that play. It would have been about 105 yards.
Yeah.
But probably would have to take 2 series off after that. But no, it was a good play by, I'd say a good play. Obviously, my first game coming off the surgery, I was very happy with that, being able to help the team.
Yeah, Hunter Reed will tell you, collegiately, you could have returned 105 yards, you only got credit for 100. They don't do it like they do in the NFL. But just to follow up on something you said, because we hear all the time as a defensive back, don't get your eyes in the backfield, don't get your eyes in the backfield. But you said you got your eyes in the backfield, so obviously this was an exception to that rule?
Yeah.
Or were you lucky and it worked out?
I would say, I was just very fortunate to be able to make the play.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had to stop him from scoring, so we got the offense back to ball. I think that's what the goal was.
Coach, as I always talk to you about, is the red zone. Y'all went 2 for 2 this weekend, scoring on both your times in there, and then you held Chattanooga for just the one time that they was able to get in there. Talk about how you're just constantly getting better in the red zone, both in offense and also your defense, keeping people out.
Yeah. Well, I thought we started the game really well, and good stop. I don't know where we actually got to, and we had a middle bus turn, got loose on counter play. I think on a 2nd and 5, and had 3rd down, and really is that what we missed Ben? I think Ben stumbled a little bit out of his break. Had a chance really for a pretty good play there, and then had the 4th down play, and Tyler missed, I guess Cole, there, and then maybe one of those. But I thought we started pretty well. You get in the red zone, can you run the football? I mean, because if you run the football, it creates lots of opportunities for you. Obviously, the field shrinks. But no, I just knew that game. Somebody asked me the game, is it going to be a shootout? I said, I'll be really surprised if it's a shootout. I just said both defenses are too good. Unless somebody just turns it over a bunch, which they did. So I think it's continuing to. I still think you got to be balanced. You're not going to cram it down everybody's throat there, but have the ability to run the ball. know, we have a number of weapons. Certainly Mason Plines become kind of the guy. He had a couple of big catches in that game, and certainly the quarterback had the ability to get there. And you know, and quite frankly, we plan on using Tyler a lot in that area. And then when he goes, goes out, we, I don't know. I'd be probably not telling you the truth. We did spend the better part of the second quarter figuring out exactly. All right, this is what we're going to do. Making the adjustments, adjusting the call sheet a little bit. That they're probably even the halftime, and just because, like I said, there were a few more curves thrown in that game, and then the helicopter pass, I'd be lying, and Coach Vaughn said he said about our defense, they can't run it off after that play. And he said, for about 30 seconds, they had this look at it about them, and I can't tell you, it didn't cross my mind. Maybe this is just not meant to be. But we moved on, and kids responded. But, we've left some points on the field this year. I don't know if it's been not good in the red zone, but, there's some things we got to do better. We could run the ball better. We got away from it a little bit because of the way the game went, especially in the fourth quarter. But I think that's something we got to still continue to get better at. We'll get Kevin Thomas is back. Grant Robson's practice. We may get both those guys back this week. And kind of a little bit surprised Grant's coming back. He's out there going against the defense a little bit later last week and yesterday. Mine Hicks has done some great stuff back there. I think a lot of stuff mine does you don't see. So I would get a few guys healthy back there, and that certainly, creates a few more options for us, going forward.
Coach, you alluded this a little bit earlier, but I did want to. There's so many heroes on Saturday, but going back and watching the game again. After a tough day, that's the only thing tough about it. Well, a rough day. The only thing rough about the Western game was special teams. And I thought a key play on Saturday was Ryan Levy's punt. It was down at 7. You get it back at the 50, you go down and score the winning game with a touchdown. That group has really made great improvement since that Western game. I don't know.
Well, they really haven't. Really the Western game, the only time I criticized, I thought it wasn't very good. And it was, he had both had one punt, and then, he dropped the snap, on the next point. But again, we made the field goal, they did, like we said, and certainly, they were coming after punts. And so Coach did a great job, both protection-wise and, a little bit, it's just, know who the unblocked hat is, and you got to beat him with the off time. So, great job of Ryan doing that. He's continuing to keep the ball well, and again, we're doing a good job covering, so we'd like to continue to build upon that. That group's kind of building their own little identity. I think now they think they can go block every kick. I think we got more of those kinds of guys that can go do that. So, we'll look at this week, see the opportunity. I know we might have a punter. But they'll need to play well. Again, that's how we have to win games.
Well, because of time considerations, we need to get into wrap-up mode here. So, Coach, I'll just ask you for a final thought.
Well, just again, we moved on yesterday. Had a really good day of practice. Today's our off day for our players. Spend most of the day as we started yesterday, prepping for VMI. Get a chance to honor seniors this week. Hope it's not the last time we play in Paladins Stadium, but you never know. So you got to make the most of it. We'll need to go have a great week of practice starting there tomorrow, and we're not going to change anything. We'll still do our good on good, and you did notice a little more of a pep and step yesterday. I don't know. It's great to have some good things happening. It's okay to celebrate, have a little fun. The grind of the season we've had. We celebrate wins, and certainly that was a great one. We moved on and got bigger things ahead. But again, just excited for the opportunity to see what we can take the rest of this season and then start by playing well this week.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Just a reminder, something that I alluded to at the beginning, it has been out on social media now, but the kickoff time for Saturday has been moved back a half an hour, so we will kick at 1:30 instead of 1 p.m. So 1:30 kickoff at Paladins Stadium. It's Senior Day, it's Military Appreciation Day, so a lot going on. The game will be broadcast on ESPN Plus, and then of course the radio broadcast on the Fan Upstate begins with the Pepsi Countdown to kickoff now at noon for the 1:30 kick. So we hope to see you in the stadium and see what's next for Clay Hendricks and his football team. Thank you to Clay, thank you to Travis, Ben for being here, and for all of us at Furman, I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you. So long, everybody. This has been a Hunter Reed and Jeff Schetzel production.